Okay, so on Scratch, we're searching space icons to share remix. And we're clicking on the second link. We will then click on See It. And we're going to download it by going to File, Download to your computer. And we are saving it to our desktop. I've already saved it, so it's going to tell me to overwrite it. We're doing this so that we can get the icons and one of the backdrops downloaded and made for us, so we don't have to waste time doing that. Also, some code is already included. So the question is, where's the Space Invaders info to download on computer? It's not on Edmodo. I just went to the Scratch website and searched that. I think that, Brendan, if you go to the link I sent you in the question, and I'll go ahead and send it in the chat too, just so anybody coming on late can get straight there. We're going to download this to our computer. We're going to create a new game in Scratch by going to File and New. And we are going to go to File, Upload from your computer, and double click the space icons to share remix. We will then replace the contents of our current project. You save it to your desktop, and when you clicked it on your desktop, your computer said it can't open. You don't want to open it while it's on your desktop. You want to actually, within the Scratch window, go to File, and then upload it from your computer. It will not, you will not be able to open it from your desktop. You have to open it within Scratch. Yeah, no worries. If it says to replace your contents of the current project, you do want to. You know how in the game there's an armada of bugs? Can we put that on? For right now, no, but later on you are more than welcome to. Let's go ahead and also rename this Space Invaders YEOT. So what you'll notice in this game is we have 3 sprites, the laser and some code for it, the spaceship and some code for it, and the alien and some code for it. This code, some of it is right. It's sort of a baseline for what we're going to be working on today. So don't delete it, but you may need to put some of it aside as we go along. I'll tell you when we need to do that. Now the first thing that I do want you to do after you rename it, I want you to go and click on Stage, and then click on Backdrops. We're actually going to have 2 different backdrops for this game. One is this nice star backdrop you see here, and the other is going to be sort of an introductory backdrop. And when I say introductory backdrop, I'm specifically referring to a start screen. It does not have to look like this, but you do want to include the name of the game, obviously. You want to include to press 1 for easy and 2 for hard. So we're actually going to be coding basically two different games, or they're going to be the same game, sorry, but we're going to have a couple different settings for each so that we can play easy or hard. So I'm going to give you about a minute to do this. You can always change it later. I'll go ahead and do it myself. I see a question here. The space icons to share remix.sb2 will not go to your desktop. If you can save it to somewhere that you can find it, so maybe in documents or something, you can save it there. I was just suggesting the desktop because it's easy to find on the desktop. Now the question is, how do you add text? If you click on your backdrop 1, there should be a big old T. If you click, all you have to do is type. No worries. So you're confused. What are you confused about? Are you confused about making a new file with all of this stuff? Oh, where do you put the text? Okay, so if you click on Stage and then click on Backdrops, there will be a stars backdrop and just a backdrop called Backdrop 1. You'll be putting the text on Backdrop 1. So you can decorate it later. I just want something very simple for now. So eventually we will be coding 1 for easy, 2 for hard. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to check is our spaceship. Our spaceship is going to behave very similarly to how the Pong paddle worked. You already made it fantastic. Were you supposed to do it simple? No, definitely not. I just wanted it to be done, in a fashion that I can continue without having to wait, So if you made it great, awesome. Yeah. So we go to spaceship, and we check the script for our spaceship. Notice how similar this is to the initial code that we had for our paddle. Just you click on right, go 10, click on left, we go -10. And this is contained within a forever loop so that we're always running this piece of code here. Okay? But we're going to add a little bit of stuff to this. Specifically, we're going to initially hide our spaceship. So let's separate this forever loop. And in the looks column, let's add hide. We're hiding this so that when we actually start our game, it'll pop up, yay, life is great, we can do stuff. Okay, so we're just hiding it for now. So what we're going to do is have an event saying that when our backdrop changes, our backdrop is going to be changing when we hit 1 or 2. It's going to change from the start screen to the stars screen, and we'll code that a little bit later. Oops, I put the wrong one in there. So what I want you all to do is put when backdrop switches to stars in your script menu, because that will indicate that, hey, we're ready to start the game. We would like to show our spaceship and then we can add this forever loop to it. So real quick, let me show you what that does. Well, actually, I can't show you what it does because we haven't set when the backdrop changes yet. But notice that when I start the script now, that our spaceship does disappear. Once we are able to change backdrops, it'll appear again. So that's basically all we're doing for the spaceship. There'll be some more stuff we'll get to a little bit later, but that's going to work pretty well for now. See a question? You still can't save the space icons to share remix. You can't file download to your computer at all? Or are you trying to save it? Because you need to download it to your computer. If you try saving that original copy, oh, the screen freezes. Are you doing it on the Pi or on the internet? Because if your screen's freezing and you're doing it on the internet, I'm just going to assume that it is it's just a RAM problem since you're doing the webinar too. Yeah, that's what I'm going to assume. You have to do a force quit. This is one of those times I would suggest, I guess I would just suggest working on it after this ends. But I would like for you to pay attention to what I'm doing and as I explain it, even if you can't duplicate it, just so you sort of get the logic behind everything. All right. So let's see here. The next thing we're going to start working on is the laser. So let's go ahead and click on the laser sprite. You'll notice that there's all sorts of crazy stuff happening with the laser sprite over here. All sorts of different code is running around here. We might need some of this, so just throw it down to the side or something out of your way. But for now, what we're just going to do is start with the when the green flag is clicked, just like we did before. We'll use some of this code, don't worry, just not quite yet. Well, actually, no, we are using it right now. So just like with the spaceship, we're going to start by hiding it when the green flag is clicked. But this time, we want to keep it hidden until a certain event is triggered. The control we want to use to fire our laser is going to be our space bar. Okay, so right now our controls are left, right, and right now we're going to add space. All right. When the space bar is pressed, we are going to want to show our laser, because that's going to show, it's going to start firing when we hit our space bar. All right. Now we're going to want to set an initial position for this laser. So by default, this laser is going to be coming out of the spaceship. Okay, I see wait. It already shows what your laser. Oh, and the code that was written already? The code that was written already, I mean, I guess you can use it. It's just written in a little bit different of a way. Like the game that you have now sort of works, but, or the game that you downloaded, it sort of works, but what happens is once the laser hits the top of the screen, the alien reappears and you just keep hitting it. Nothing, it's really easy. The alien doesn't move or anything. Yeah. So when the space key is pressed, we want to show our laser. Actually, wait, I'm sorry, I lied. Let's see here. We're going to actually go to spaceship. You made a laser sound with it? Great, and that's something that's going to make your game a lot more fun. Adding your little flares like that. I should know I was right the first time. So let's show our laser after we go to our spaceship. So when I say go to spaceship, that means this laser, oh, you made it with your voice? That's even better. That's really silly. So we're gonna want our laser to default at our spaceship's location, because we don't want the laser to just like, you know, start way over here when the spaceship's over here. That doesn't make any sense. We're actually going to point it the way that the orientation of the laser is. We're actually going to want to point it at 90 degrees, not the 0 it says. We're going to want to show it. And we're going to use a non-infinite loop. So let's just go ahead 35 or 40, go into control and then repeat. And instead of this move 10 steps, we're actually going to change y by 10. Okay. Let's take this broadcast out just for now. And there's one thing I'm missing to make this always happen. Actually, I think it'll always happen anyway, never mind. Let's just continue like this. Sorry. So what we want to do after the laser goes all the way up to the top, we want to hide it. So we have not yet programmed collisions. We'll get there soon. We're literally just making it so that the laser fires out of the spaceship and disappears when it's out of range. All right. We'll be doing some more stuff in just a second. So upwards till it disappears. Yeah. What our goal is going to be for today is to create a very simple game where the ship's going to shoot aliens for points, and we're going to focus on alien movement a little bit later. So remember, folks, that programming requires you to break down some pretty complex problems into some simpler problems. And so let's just start simple here. Called the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. It will make your life a lot easier in the future. Simplicity is beauty. Then you can get more complex. All right. So at this point, we're going to start doing some more coding for our alien. So again, let's just throw this code down here. We might use it, we might not. Just like before, we're going to want to hide our alien when the flag is clicked. Remember, this is our start screen. We don't want to show our alien until we actually start. And again, we have not coded that yet, so this game is not going to work. We're going to need to add a couple of events. We're going to make 2 events, one for when easy is received and one for when hard is received. Now, once we code this start screen here, we're going to code it so that the screen will change from the start screen to the star screen, whether or not you press 1 or 2. But when you press 1, it'll have different properties than when you press 2. So let's go to the events panel. And add 2 when I receive to our game. And for consistency's sake, let's also add 2 show after these receives. Let's make life easy. The first message we're going to be looking for in the game is going to be easy. I didn't mean for that to come out like that, but it did. And let's let the second message be hard. So whether or not it's easy or hard, as soon as the option is picked, they're going to show our alien. We are also going to start our alien's initial position to be at x coordinate of 30 and a y of 25. So in motion, we're going to use the go to x and y, 30 and 25 for both. Why do you need 2 commands for show? Because there's a billion different ways to do this, and I'm just doing it a way that is sort of explanatory so you can see why each way is different. That, and I think that the default version of Space Invaders on your Raspberry Pis are going to have this method used. So all that stuff that I had you throw down there, where's Space Invaders on the Raspberry Pi? If you have had a lab where we gave you the new SD card and formatted it, all you have to do is go to File and Open in Scratch, and you'll see Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and some other game. If you haven't, gotten your pie updated yet, then you won't have it yet. Now the question, can you code the alien and then create multiple? Yes, but you have to do some funky stuff to get multiple to work right. Because keep in mind, they're going to have different X and Y positions, or specifically different X positions that you'll have to take into account. So just stick with one for now. Next class, we'll be working on multiple. So anyways, this forever loop that we had down there, you can duplicate it and then just throw it into both the easy and the hard for now. So what we have right here is just the same exact thing. Nothing different between these two games yet, or these two modes rather. So I'm going to put your hands down, and I do want you to raise your hand once you've gotten to this point. Remember, our end goal for today is to have a very, very simple game. Our alien will move, we'll have a scoreboard, and fun stuff will happen. While you are working on this, I do want to reiterate, if you are in Charlotte or Harrisburg, and you have a lab, or sorry, in Raleigh or Harrisburg, and you have a lab in Charlotte this week, bring your Raspberry Pi. No questions. So the question, how come easy and hard is the same? Because we'll be changing it very soon. Hang on. You put broadcast easy or hard in the backdrop one. We'll be doing both, but we'll get there a little bit later. Did you get your Pong game on Edmodo? I did. I've only played, I don't think I played yours, Hand. I played somebody's. I can't remember whose, though. I think it was, did I play Leo's, maybe? You're just watching because you've done with Scratch, done this before. Okay, and that's fine. It's definitely a good reminder. But yeah, you will be doing both broadcast easy and hard, Marissa. They'll be different speeds or shoot things themselves, maybe? Yes. We will be using different speeds, but the way we're doing it's a little bit weird. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment here. So at this point, what we're going to do is create a new variable for score. So we want to keep score so that we can see how many aliens that we have shot. So if we go to our data tab, there are already two variables that have been made, direction and speed. And yes, we will be using both, but we're going to create a new variable called score for all sprites. And a little bit later, when we start, when we change our backdrop, we're going to set an initial score. But for now, what I'm going to have you all do is in both the easy and the hard forever loop, we're going to change our score by 1. And we'll set initials for this momentarily here. So all it's doing, if the alien is touching the laser, that means the alien's hit, and you hide it. And so here's where it starts getting a little bit funky. Okay? When we receive either easy or hard, here's where we're going to start our initial condition for our speed. So for easy, we're going to set our speed to 2. Oops. And for hard, We can set our speed to anything above 2, but I'm going to set it to 15 because it's really fast. When we set our initial direction, we're going to set it in sort of a weird way here. We're going to actually set our initial direction to be our speed. Our direction, once again, is going to default to our to the positive x direction, which is towards the right. Since both of our speeds are going to be positive, it's going to just go straight to the right, no matter if it's going to be easy or hard. So we're actually going to set our direction to speed, which is kind of weird. So we still haven't programmed the easy or hard. We still have not programmed our score. We've programmed our alien to only go to the right at a speed that is dependent on our game mode. We haven't programmed our alien to go down or left yet, but we'll get there momentarily. Nor have we programmed our backdrop to change based on a key input. All right. So let's go ahead and make our aliens able to change directions and drop down. We're going to be using an if statement, a mathematical operator, and I think that's it actually. What this if statement is going to do is check our alien's x position in terms of being if it's too far left or too far to the right. If our alien gets too far to the left or right, we're going to have it drop down and switch direction. All right, so when x hits 140, we'll drop down, change direction. I don't know why 200, but whatever. When x hits negative 200, which is the left, drop down, change direction. So for both of our easy and our hard modes, we'll need to include basically this code here for both of them. Within the forever loop, so this is where our code starts getting real long, we're on a couple of if statements. I'm going to try to fit this all nice and conveniently. We're going to use the greater than Boolean for the right-hand side. So remember, if it's greater than 140. And the less than sign for the left-hand side. So if it's less than negative, say 140, if it's negative 141, we want to go the other way. So let's put our x position in our first operator position and set a couple of numbers for our limits. I believe I said negative 200 at first, but right-click the area the code is in and click Clean Up. Well, it's not easy for me to code with the webinar software on there, but that is good to know. Thank you. So let's just do -1 for 140 for X and -140, sorry, for right and -140 for the left, just for consistency's sake. Where's my change direction go? Or set direction, there it is. So what we're going to do is set our direction once it checks to see where X position is. If our X position is too far to the right, we want to start going left. So let's set our greater than 140 to have a direction of -2 so that it starts going towards the left. And at -140, when we hit our leftmost limit, we want it to go to the right. Oops. So let's set that to be 2 as well, or normal 2. Missing something. So that just changes direction, and to drop it down, we're just going to change Y by -20 for both of these. So this is just going to be your code for easy. Hard is going to be basically the same thing. To make your life easier, you can just take the 2 if statements. You can't get the X position part. That is going to be in motion in X position, and then you just throw it in to the operator. This code is not complete yet, no, definitely not. We still have a little ways to go. So if you try to run it, it's not going to work yet. Anyways, if we want to do the same thing for hard, we can just throw these if statements out of the forever loop, duplicate them, and put them back together. I guess for consistency's sake, it won't let you drag it into the if statement. You might need to take everything else out of the if statement and then attach it outside of your code and then put it back in. Yours is glitching when it goes to easy, it goes down to the bottom. I don't know. It might just be because you haven't finished the code yet. Okay, so yeah, this is not done yet, don't worry. So for hard, let's change our direction. I don't know if it actually matters, but I'm doing it for consistency's sake. Let's set our direction to -15 and 15 respectively. So a whole lot of stuff here. Do you need to set an X and a Y because the alien moves now? We still haven't finished coding, so it's not going to work yet. We did set an X and a Y. It's this go to X and Y below show. We're just starting an initial position for it. Yeah, no worries. And again, if it's not working, it's because we still haven't finished coding the very basics of it. And actually, wait, there is one thing I forgot because they kind of subtly snuck it in here. We do actually need to make it start moving. That's something that I always forget to add because they don't touch it, they don't mention it at all beyond that. We will need to change our X by a certain number for both of these. So if that might have been what you meant, Marissa, actually. We're going to need to, within these forever loops, change our X by something, and we're just going to pick direction. Because otherwise, even though we are acting like it's going to move, it's not going to move. Until we give it a movement. Yours is doing something funny, and what is that? Going straight down and moving off to the side and then vibrating back and forth. Huh. While I don't think that's because we've not finished yet, I am just going to say, let us finish. If it's still happening, then I'll look more closely at your code, okay? Could I run mine to see how it runs? Yeah, but it's not going to do anything at first except for hide that alien. If I change the backdrop and then run it, oh, you couldn't hear me for a little bit. All right, all I said really, or I was addressing a question about it running, or somebody's program running oddly. I said that it's probably just doing that because we haven't finished coding it yet. If you saw what happened with mine when I ran it, all it did is hide the alien. I have not yet coded this to respond to easy or hard yet, so there is no trigger for the game to start. So right now, when I run it, nothing's going to happen at all. Something might be happening for you, but it really depends on what code you've got written. Just promise me, sit tight. We're almost done with a very basic game. So don't worry if it's running weird. Because what I'm going to have y'all do in just a second is set it so that it might run correctly. And that's just by adding this right here. So what that was, we click on our stage and we're going to add a script to our stage area. Yes, I'll go back to the alien so you can check your code real quick. Alright. So what we're going to do, when the green flag is clicked, we're going to make sure that our backdrop is our starting screen. Now to make sure that when we click 1 we go to easy and 2 to hard, here's what we do. We go back to events. We're going to switch space key to 1. So scroll down to that. Then we're going to broadcast easy, meaning that the game is saying, hey, we want it to be easy so that the alien knows that it's only going to be going so fast. We're going to do the same thing for hard. When the 2 key is pressed, we're going to broadcast hard. Oops. But we're still missing one thing. There's one initial condition. Oh yeah, we're missing 2 things actually. Good point. We will need to switch our backdrop to stars for both of these. Thank you, Marissa. I almost forgot that. And I thought that it went here, but I guess not. You gotta go. All right. Have a good evening too. And I guess I forgot to initialize it somewhere else, but let's go ahead here. When you hit the flag, it flickers and stops. Your game just flickers and stops, or? It's probably a code thing. You're flagged and the game stops. Put your mouse on 0, 0 coordinates. Nice. It's probably a code issue. It's just something with your code that's not acting correctly. I could not tell you what that is. I would just highly recommend going through your code, trying to talk your way through it, which is what we call pseudocode. Can you go back again to make sure you have the right code? Yeah, before I do that though, I'm going to do one thing. Before that, I'm going to set our score to 0. I need to initialize the score somewhere, so I might as well do it there. So let me check your alien code, because I know it is a little bit overwhelming how much code there is here. Hard to get everything all in one. So easy and then hard. Thank you. But what I've done today is basically a very, very simple game. It's just one alien that we've coded to go left and right. one laser beam, one spaceship, one dream. It's yours, mine's the same as yours. It's doing the exact same weird thing. If you wouldn't mind sharing your game, what it's going to do is going to, yeah, I don't know. If you're having some issues with it, if you want to share your game and send it to me in an email, I can definitely do that. To share it, what you do is you hit share. It'll send an email to your email. You can send it to me at saunders.yeot. Question is, can I run my code again? Yes. Yeah, if you put it on Edmodo though, tell me you're having some issues with it, okay? Just be like, yo, this is having some trouble here. So 1 for easy, 2 for hard. Here's 2. Oh gosh. We still have not coded yet for the alien hitting the spaceship or anything. Still a lot of code that we got to run. But that's essentially what we're looking for there. But yes, you can put it on Edmodo. We will be working more with this on Wednesday. So it is 7 o'clock. So if you don't have any questions, you are free to go. If you do have questions, I'll be on for just a couple more minutes. You're welcome. I'll be putting the link to this YouTube video on Edmodo. I will also be putting a reminder up on Edmodo to bring your Raspberry Pis to lab for those coming to Charlotte from Raleigh or Harrisburg. Yeah, no problem, Marissa. For Harrisburg, that's going to be on Thursday. Yeah, we're done. If you need to go, you can go. On on Raleigh, it's going to be Saturday. When will you learn to set up your Raspberry Pis? Unfortunately, that's kind of a lab thing, so let me also write down I need to email him about setting up the Pis. I'm going to stop recording this for now.